This guy, Arthur Kessler, he was a Jew too, but he says the larger majority of the surviving Jews in the world are of Eastern European descent. He said, and thus perhaps mainly of Khazar origin. If so, this would mean that their ancestors came not from the Jordan, but from the Volga, not from Canaan, but from the Caucasus, once believed to be the cradle of the Aryan race, and that genetically they are more closely related to the Hun, Uyghur, and Magyar tribes than to the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is in their own dictionary. I'm going to read their dictionary to you. So, it said, the primary meaning of Ashkenaz and Ashkenazim in Hebrew is Germany and German. This may be due to the fact that the home of the ancient ancestors of the German is Media, which is the biblical Ashkenaz. Krauss is of the opinion that in the early medieval ages, the Khazars were sometimes referred to as Ashkenazim. About 92% of all Jews, or approximately 14.5 million, are Ashkenazim. This is in their dictionary. This is their encyclopedia. Their own encyclopedia. That's the Universal Jewish Encyclopedia. Let's go to another. Encyclopedia Americana. It says, the Ashkenazim are the Jews whose ancestors lived in German land. It was among Ashkenazi Jews that the idea of political Zionism emerged, leading ultimately to the establishment of the State of Israel. In the late 1960s, Ashkenazi Jews numbered some 11 million, about 84% of the world's Jewish population. Encyclopedia Americana. All right. Then it says, in the 8th century, its political and religious head, as well as the greater part of the Khazar nobility, abandoned paganism and converted to Judaism. The Khazars are believed to be the ancestors of most Russian and Eastern European Jews. The Jewish Encyclopedia. Encyclopedia Judaica, 1970. The Khazars are a national group of general Turkic type, independent and sovereign in Eastern Europe between the 7th and 10th centuries CE. During part of this time, the leading Khazars professed Judaism. It's in their own book. There was a war going on between Islam and Christianity. And you were going to convert to one of them because the Catholic Church was in charge of the war on the Christian side, and the Muslims was in charge of the one on the Muslim side. And both sides didn't mind killing you. And whichever one got to you first, that's the one you better convert to. They got to the Khazars, and Khazars said, "No, we don't want neither one of them. We're going to be Jews." Khazars, according to the Jewish Encyclopedia, are a non-Semitic. What's Semitic mean? From Shem. Semitic means Shem. You remember we go back to Ham, Shem, and Japheth, the three that came off the boat after the flood. And anytime you see Semitic, that means they came from Shem. But they're non-Semitic. Didn't come from Shem. If they didn't come from Shem, they couldn't come out of Abraham, because Abraham came from Shem. Isaac came out of Abraham. Jacob came out of Abraham and Isaac. And then the nation of Israel came out of Jacob. So if they didn't come out of Shem, it's impossible for them to be the children of Israel. They come from two different genetic lines. One from Japheth and one from Shem. See, there's another one right there. Another definition of who they are. Saying the same thing. Now this is where the Khazarian capital was. This is modern day Turkey. So they went north. And they settled out in Khazaria. Now I'm going to show you some stuff about Turkey that you might not know. All right, let's look at, you can learn a lot from looking at the names in the Bible. You know, we like to skip over the names, but the history is in the name. And it says, the sons of Japheth had Gomer and Magog and Madai and Javan and Tubal and Meshach and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer were who? Ashkenaz. The same name as the Ashkenazi Jews. And they've admitted that they don't come from Shem. They come from Japheth, and their name is written in the book. Magog, Tabul, Targama, Meshach, all in Turkey.